Hello and welcome to the Sweaty and the Farmer and the Game Design. Our pickles eat other pickles to get more girty, dumb, thick, and delicious. This is episode number 6, The Nature of the Beast. I'm the learning gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho as the farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we track and hunt for another episode in our Monster Hunter series.
But before that, as usual, let's take a look at the news of this week.
Yep.
What do we have on the docket, my friend?
We have
News.
Magic
Yeah.
Arena release and rotation,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes. So what's gonna happen, for those not in the know, is that Magic Arena is finally getting out of beta. He's been all this time on beta, like for what? It's been like 8 months, 10 months in beta, give it a take.
Yeah.
There is, and finally they're gonna release as a proper game with rotation, which is very convenient because you will have, like, if you're gonna start playing Magic now, you will have less sets to play into standard, to get into standard. So it'll be cheaper for you. And you already have like the battle pass, the version of the battle pass, which gives you like gold and resources and some cards into the game. And is releasing at the same time as the new set. And that comes with rotation, everything that implies. And then they releasing the new format that is historic, that is exclusive for Magic Arena, which is the old sets that they already released are gonna be playing on the format. And that's what's happening on Magic Arena. Very, very good. They finally made the step there. I heard, like, I've seen so many games that never do the step to properly release.
Like Warframe.
For example. And then get out of the beta is like, oh my god, please.
But
please.
I think I have heard that for them it's like a technical reason to be able to push some of the updates faster in console.
So they had to stay in beta forever to like be able to have faster speeds in console.
It probably has something that happened when they signed the contracts with PlayStation and Xbox, because their interest was about releasing updates fast.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't have like the way to put a lot of conditions on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
So they probably had to find like a workaround, and I'm pretty sure like staying in beta for them for the current consoles is like a technical thing.
All right.
And whenever they release new consoles or we have a generation change, they could renegotiate that stuff.
The state of beta and finally be like a full release game. like
Magic Arena.
We have been operating for 7 years.
Although I think they won't do it they won't release anymore. It's kind of a joke. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but this point is like we're in beta forever and that's it. Like
but that's not Magic Arena.
Yeah, that's the Magic Arena. They finally took the step. They are the most interesting thing is like there was this big controversy about the card exchange rate. Because they were gonna double up for historic for all cards, and they will not be you will not be able to like buy all packs from decks that are not in standard anymore in the current format, and they reversed that because.
Do you want to explain that a little bit more?
So what happened is, put the graphic here up if you're watching the video by any chance,
and explain how rotation works, because that's not that.
Yeah, so how it works is standard is the format where you play with the recently released sets of Magic. Magic releases a new collection of cards, can be new or reprints of all cards every 3 or so months. Like it's like around every 3 months, right? Yeah. And standard will work with the most recent sets that have been released. So generally they're between like when is the smallest is 5 sets, around 5 to 6 sets. When is the biggest is around 8 sets, right? And what happened is like once it reaches that point when a standard is 8 sets. All the 8 sets release are the ones in standard, the first ones. When it comes to the 9th set, what they do is they cut the last 4 sets of that, so they cut it in half and then add the new set, so it becomes again 5 sets on the standard. So it keeps this stretching, this bigger and smaller to keep in the correct sets.
It seems that what it happens is when the window for a standard is around 2 years old.
Yep.
They just cut it to the last year and they keep going for the next year and then they cut it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So to keep it current, to keep it like moving that product, the new product that they say, but because Magic Arena is such a new product, they don't have the majority of the sets working on the software, right? If you go to Magic Online, which is the classic software that they use they've been using for a long time, they have all the old sets complete in that platform. But that thing is a software from '98, I think. No, from the 2000s. From the 2000s. That software is from the 2000s.
It's still pretty old.
Super old with a bunch of they've been like adding a lot of sets there. So they've been like almost current, but Arena is super recent. It's like 8 months, 10 months old.
I have a question for you. Are they gonna add the older sets eventually to Magic Arena?
No one knows. For now, they announce a new format, which they're calling historic, which is all the sets that exist in Arena, right? The weird thing is that they have already 2 sets before the cutoff, that they already have programmed when they were on closed beta.
Sure.
Right? So they have all those cards already programmed inside the software, and people were wondering why. Well, why don't you like bring those sets already? You already have them programmed. Why don't do it? But I think the way it works is if the problem of this is if you have a lot of collection of cards, it's very, 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 very difficult to account for all the interactions, right? And Magic has a lot of interactions.
Yeah, it has a lot of rules that have changed throughout the years.
Exactly. It has some weird interactions, weird card printing stuff that stack and don't stack, and they behave strangely, right? Magic Online have all that time because they don't have to put the fancy part into the cards. So they're
because it's just the card.
Yeah, so they're like text. Exactly. So it's super rules set so that avoids that problem of weird interaction happens in the software, right? Because when you like try to mainstream the interactions as Arena does to be like more approachable for the people. A lot of those rules are working under the software, right? But that means that they have to make a decision of what rules to streamline or not. And if you charge the software too much with that, maybe it will take too long to actually make the functioning of the cards in Arena in terms of programming, right?
Yep.
That's a technical reason for not to go back that much all at once. But
I get it. I completely understand it. It's fine.
Yeah, the plan. Yeah.
No, it's just that for me, like I have a soft spot for
older sets.
8th edition.
8th edition. Okay.
Yeah, because that's when I started playing.
You know that's the cutoff of Modern, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, so
I started playing around 8th edition, so I have a soft spot for the sets following 8.
Yeah, the older sets. That's good.
So I'm just saying, it will be for me very cool to have a place where I can revisit high school memories.
Fair enough.
But I see what you mean. I agree.
Yeah. So 2 things in that topic that are weird. One, they say that they were going to bring historic cards into the format, right? So they're gonna like program certain cards from the past of Magic and put it into a special sort of like thing to enrich the format of a story, but they haven't spoken about like bringing back old sets, right? And if they do, they probably start with the block that they already have functioning in the machine, right? And then they probably start like going backwards. But the thing is like there is no incentive for them because they they're not gonna sell anything off in Arena from those old sets. You know what I mean? The way that Magic gets profit is by selling new sets, by selling the new
I
hot stuff, right? There is it's
I
a
agree
complete
with that.
discussion. Like, it's a complete discussion. Don't get me wrong.
No, and I agree with that, but also like all like a big part of the appealing of Magic in general is the collectible part of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for a lot of people who may get into a game through Magic Arena and not necessarily through a paper card game, it could be like an opportunity to sell them all their stuff.
Of course.
But there are a lot of things that go into play. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have a soft spot for the older ones.
I know. And the other side of that
years
coin,
ago when I started learning the game.
Absolutely. But the other side of the coin is that apparently they're kind of updating Magic Online to be more closely to Arena.
I mean, it is in their interest to try to make a bridge between Magic Online and Arena so that people can transition from the older to the newer. If they still haven't done it. And
it's weird.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it will take time.
Yeah, it will take time because I don't know. Like, my question is, how much actual money is costing them to maintain both softwares with updates and everything else, right? There has to be one point when having two pieces of software that are very similar, that are gonna be like close each other. At what point one eliminates the other, or how sustainable is two? It's very weird, man.
It's probably when they feel that most of the player base
moves to one or the other.
Have made the change to Arena, and whenever they feel like the community is quote unquote small enough for Magic Online, they'll probably cut the cable. Say, okay, we're not gonna maintain this software anymore. It's
time.
Thanks for playing, but like, we cannot do that much.
Yeah, it's time to. Yeah, probably that will be like the time to move up. But
it will happen. It may happen slowly because people don't like change.
Yeah, the weird thing is like when Magic Arena started, everybody said, "Oh, Magic Online is dead. Now they're gonna burn the software to the ground." And that hasn't happened. But at some point, it's not sustainable to like have both.
I mean, you could say that Magic Online was that it's gonna die slowly. It's not.
Yeah, it's not
gonna just disappear.
Yeah. All right, that's for Arena, and they disclosed their roadmap, as many others have done, and they
the new trend in the video game industry.
Yeah, and the funny part is they accidentally spoiled the next sets.
Did they?
Yeah, they accidentally Zendikar Rising, that nobody knows that they were coming another Zendikar till they post this. Yeah, and the same
they're
with
learning.
Korra. Everybody know about Terrace, that Terrace will be like a return to Terrace, but nobody knows about the new set, the new plane, and nobody knows that we will be coming into Zendikar after that. So they accidentally like spoil.
Yeah, it's fine.
It happens, but the trend of the roadmap.
Yep.
We agree. All right, our next docket in the news is Borderlands 3 was released last week. Yeah.
Last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week on Thursday, was it? Was it last week on Thursday? Yeah, it was last week on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes. And it's been suffering about problem technical issues, and with that comes the weird review situation. So what it was weird is like generally, as it works, before a game comes out, they send a bunch of review copies to everybody, like to a majority of the community, right? This time it was super weird because they put a timed embargo onto the streamers that were doing the preview, and then they send like 5 people review copies of the game, right? And only the biggest, right? Which by this time, but like by now in the industry, that's really strange, right? And they send them like a pre-alpha copy, not even closer to to what was
to a release
released.
version.
Yeah, and it was super weird. And then they have a problem with a YouTuber that spoiled something, and they sent like agents to his house. It was like crazy. And like overall had positive reviews, but everybody was wondering why they didn't like do it the normal way. But somebody, a lot of people was saying that the reason is the technical issues at launch, which we fortunately haven't experienced any. But I will
Not really.
say that when I was playing with four people, my computer crashed a couple of times, in my frame rate drop. Like when there was like a lot of four people and like a bunch of stuff happening on the stream, on the screen, and a lot of like stuff blowing around and like artifacts and that sort of stuff. Like it
Yeah,
dipped my
I was
FPS.
playing in a public group earlier today,
Yeah,
and my game crashed during a load screen. It just froze and
yeah,
crashed. Basically, crashed my computer.
yeah. Jesus.
And yeah, it was super weird. And when I restarted the game,
Yeah.
it actually asked me like there are two different save games,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They put
one on your
that.
machine and one on the cloud.
Yeah.
It
You
was
know
like,
why
oh
they put that, right? Because they were
yeah,
accidentally deleting save states from people.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
on middle
I,
of crashes. That's a technical issue that happened
I,
at the
I get
beginning.
it. But yeah, that's the only thing that I have encountered so far, apart from the menu being a little bit laggy from time
Yeah,
to time
yeah, yeah,
and some weird menu glitches, but nothing game breaking, at
yeah.
least for us while we were playing the campaign.
For us, nothing game breaking. Like I experienced it that deep on frame rate, and then a crash after that because there was like a boss fight and a bunch of ads and stuff happening on the screen. Like the sensation is that the game needed a little bit more optimization
Yeah,
for everything that's
that's
happened, for
okay.
all the artifacts or the calculation and everything else.
That's the
And
consensus.
yeah, but in the other and the reason why is because apparently on PC is a random coin drop. Some pieces work fine, some pieces are not fine, right?
Yep.
And but in consoles is like overall terrible apparently. It's like
Yeah.
everybody was
D-
like getting like
don't play on
30.
consoles.
Don't play in consoles. They're
That's the
part of the
answer.
market. We have to talk about them.
We can talk about them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, is that don't play on consoles.
So yeah, so the consoles are like across the board. They're reporting
Yeah,
like
they're
30
all are suffering.
FPS.
Yep.
Yeah, drops on 20 FPS in the other mode. It's been like terrible, weird glitches everywhere, and that sort of stuff. We are being fortunate. We had a pretty smooth experience. We had like one crash, I think.
Yeah.
We had one crash with all the hours that we spent on the campaign, and that was about it. We didn't lose any frames at any point, or any sort of things like that, or connection or
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, we didn't lose any save games because that's also a
Yeah,
problem that some people have had on PC as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We didn't, we
That's
didn't, we didn't lose that.
that's very fortunate for us.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing about. And on top of that, we have a hot fix. Talk about the hot fix, my friend.
Oh yeah, that they nerf the loot drop for some of the bosses.
Yep.
And the rate that the loot minks or these little dudes with their backpacks appear on
Yeah, the goblins
Hidden
of
Six.
Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't even notice the patch.
Well,
Like if I was playing earlier today
yeah.
and it just felt fine for me. Like yeah, it's a normal loot.
Yeah, it's because they did a hot fix. So for us that
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
you didn't feel
it
it.
didn't feel different.
Yeah, of
Like that
course.
much.
And I think because this was a specific target, because I've been seeing like a lot of people super fun, like the way the way they are doing, like we are playing Borderlands 3 very normally, very calmly. We are not in a rush or anything, but like what people are doing is like they go into a boss and they kill it with a very little build, and they farm like that. So they just go kill and reset, go kill and reset, go kill it, and that's the way they farm like legendaries and experience. And the other thing is like they went to this very specific location in the last planet, and they farm iridium like that. They go farm all the iridium and then reset the map, go out and go and come back and farm their iridium. So what they did is like they reduced the drop for the bosses, so people don't farm them like that for items. You still can farm them for experience a little bit, but they reduce to the experience of the bosses too, so people don't like hyper farm the bosses for
I
experience.
think, yeah, like I get all of that, and I don't care about that much.
Yeah,
And I believe that a lot of the builds that are like super efficient for farming bosses right now are gonna get nerfed at some point.
they nerf some weapons, if I'm not wrong, in
Yeah, but
this
I feel like they're gonna nerf builds
entire
like that.
builds.
Yeah.
All right, what like the
Have you
crit
seen
build,
the one that one shot?
the flag crit
Yeah,
build
the flag one. Yeah, the flag one to just kill
is insane.
like with infinite fire rate during
Yeah.
the phase thing, the invisibility thing.
Yeah. I've seen that.
It's,
That's insane.
it's
It's
a
like
complete
crazy.
glass cannon, and it doesn't matter because you're just gonna kill
The
the
boss.
boss in
That's it.
like
Yeah.
seconds. I feel like they're gonna nerf that. Like,
Well, they already nerfed the experience and the loot drop from the bosses. I don't think they need to do
yeah, but
anything
and
else.
that's all well and good,
Yeah.
but it's still the fact that there is a build that is apparently not that hard to put together
Yeah.
that allows you to just melt a boss in the game in
Yeah.
a couple of seconds. That doesn't sound healthy for the state of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, it's weird because the reason why that build is so good and is because it's not gear dependent. Right? That's the thing. It's like you
Yeah,
just need like
yeah,
the abilities on the tree and then a good weapon that deals a lot of damage in single target, like preferably Jacobs, which apparently they're the highest damage, but they don't have elemental anything, so they're good that they
yeah.
crit because they deal damage directly into the
They're basically
monster.
create high hitting weapons.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason why that build is not gear dependent, because everything else that I've seen is kind of gear dependent, right? You need like certain weapons that work that way, or certain type of grenade, or these relics, so you can get one step further in like the majority of builds. But Flag is this like create machine monster for some reason, right?
That's what I'm saying. That I think that build specifically is gonna be nerfed.
Yeah, I would like to see like a nerf to that, to the crit ability of Flag, but at the same time I would like to see a buff to other abilities, right? I would like to see a buff
Uh,
to the mech of Mouse, so you can have like a,
and
a, a running mech build. I would like to see a buff to some of the pet abilities for Flag, so you can have a
I,
true pet build.
I agree with that, and I
Yeah,
disagree. Somehow they have to worry about one thing at a time. I think it's a bad decision for them to try to roll at a lot of changes to builds at once.
yeah,
That will be kind of dangerous because then you have interactions that you cannot predict while you're changing things.
yeah. But I think on the same topic, yes. But they should give you something back, so the feels bad of the nerf is not that bad, right?
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my
I
point,
guess people
right?
are gonna complain, but
People always
everyone
complain.
knows
That's our
it's
slogan.
gonna stop complaining. We all know it's gonna come. We all know it's gonna that create build for Flag is gonna be nerfed.
Yeah, for sure.
Just let it happen.
Let it happen. Let it
And if
happen.
another like insane boss melter build appears,
Yeah,
it's gonna be nerfed again. It's fine.
yeah,
That's what happens.
yeah. The thing is like it's too easily like yes, and that's the problem of that build. That build needs to be a little bit nerf on this. Like the only way that they can do it is like attacking the actual crit tree, and like dumbing down some of the abilities of Flag. I think that's the point of how you attack it. Otherwise, like yeah, otherwise I don't see any other form for it to like nerf that build at the end of the
It
day.
could be it could be that you cannot stack as many buffs on top of each other
Maybe, but
because
that
that's
yeah
because that's how a build works. Like,
yeah. The stackable
you get
juice.
huge crit buffs where you're invisible, and you can stack some of their buffs on top of that. So
Yep.
if you limit the amount of buffs that you can get, it can still be useful.
Yep.
Without being broken. So.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what happened with that build, but yeah, super easy to. Because the other ones that I've seen for endgame, they're like they're sometimes very dependent of what modifiers you get on Mayhem 3. And like sometimes they don't do anything and sometimes they're great.
We'll see what happens with the game. Still only like
very
1
early.
week.
Yeah, just 1 week alive. Let's see what happened. But that's our news for the week.
Yep.
So let's move on into our deep dive.
Into our main topic.
And as usual, we began our main topic with our little disclaimer. That the discussions here are based on our opinions and on in-game experience. We're not aiming to be game journalists in any shape or form. Of course, we check some stuff before we start talking about it. But we sometimes are wrong. We sometimes get things wrong. And it happens.
It will happen.
Sorry. And it will happen.
we'll keep forgetting things and mechanics.
Yes, and stuff. And overlooking stuff.
We don't play all the games at the same time all the time.
That is true. That is true.
Because I have a job, so I cannot do it.
I play a lot of more different I cannot play everything at the same time. Even if I don't have a job and my job is streaming.
You have a job. He's streaming.
I do have a job.
That's your job.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I have a job where I cannot play video games all day.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's put it that way.
All right, so
so this week we'll keep gushing about Monster Hunter World.
Please, yes.
Basically, that's what we're doing.
Basically, at this point, we have to accept it. Accept the truth.
I already come to acceptance that we're going to gush around
you already this game. Come to accept it.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff. Last couple of episodes.
Yep.
That's episode part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, which we talk about a lot of stuff.
And there's still a bunch of things to talk about.
Yes, about this great
game. And the first thing on the menu today is a biggie again. It's the whole monster is the monster design of the game, because
but before that we have another disclaimer to do, don't we?
Oh yeah, that's true. Before we go into the meat and
potatoes.
that we are not real Monster Hunter fans because we have only played World on PC.
Oh no!
Yes.
We apologize if somebody needs us to do seppuku, like symbolic seppuku, we will.
Is that our fault? No. It's Capcom's fault for keeping the game in weird platforms.
Yeah, all over the place. And only in Japan.
It's not even all over the place. It was like a bunch of mobile platforms, like Nintendo DS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just
weird.
That's
everywhere.
Just weird.
Yeah, it was just like everywhere. But we still love the game. So, monster design and counter design is our first docket of the day.
Yep.
We have talked about all the weapons and all the systems that I have, but let's talk about the actual monsters.
Let's talk about the other half of that equation.
Yeah.
Which is the monster that we're hunting.
Think about hunting the monsters. All right.
Yeah.
So the thing, I was thinking about this, like when you put this on the docket, I was like, yes, you're right, because the first comparison that I did, and you correct me, was that this game was about boss encounters, right? And you say no, and I was like, well, kind of, but you still no, that's incorrect, right? And I know why. Like now that I thought about it, I know why. Because that's not the point of the game. You are not like You're not like when you go and hunt something, you're not like entering the boss room and then they present itself and then they start to attack. On the contrary, right? You do the other half. You are actually like in the majority of hunts, you are the aggressor.
Yep.
Right? You are the one that's gonna kill them. Like the majority of the monsters in this game are pacifist, if you think about it, right? They don't attack you on sight unless you're in their territory.
Yeah,
right?
that's the point. They somehow behave like real animals. Like
Yeah, and yeah,
they're
exactly.
just out there doing their thing, and it's up to us to kill them and make
Yeah, and they're like actually
hats out of them.
they're really like and I was thinking about it. There's a bunch of parts where yeah, you're not like you are actually, and that makes the game feel very special because that puts
Yep.
you on that centric that you're not hunting for bosses or for video game scenes or anything. No, you're going to hunt. You're going to the jungle outside and look for something that lives there and that is clearly minding their own business all the time, right?
Yep.
So I remember this part, the part when you go and fight the first Elder Dragon, which is Kirin. He won't attack you, and he's one of the most dangerous things in this
Yeah.
game. And he won't attack you. You can actually walk beside him, and he will look at you suspiciously. but yeah, you can admire him in his habitat. He goes down, up, he eats, he fights with another monster.
Yeah, like they're doing their own thing. That's
Yes.
and I think that's, and you can do your own thing. Like on some of the maps,
Yes.
you can go to ponds and fish. You can just go around mining minerals,
Yeah, you just
gathering
can.
herbs.
You can be nice and you can like one nature. There is like the other part where when you step into certain places, they will for sure attack you. There are some monsters that on sight they will attack you, but it's more a territorial thing because if you run away from them, they will instantly disengage. Right? They won't chase you. The game will never like strong arm you into fight anything.
Yeah, but then that again makes sense because there are real animals
Yeah, they feel like
who will
real.
attack anything that goes into whatever they consider their territory, and it's fine. It feels natural.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but I'll say that there is another thing that for me makes the monsters feel alive and not
Yes.
just video game monsters, and is that a lot of they went the extra mile for a lot of the attacks on the monsters
Yeah.
to feel like things that an animal up to some degree could do like naturally. Like none of them is shooting laser from their eyes. You know what I mean? No monster is summoning weird stuff from the floor.
Yes. All right. Yes.
You know,
yeah. Everything
like
works.
Puki. It's an early game monster. It poisons you, but it's not like it summons poison out of nowhere. No, like you can see that it has a sac on the tail and it grows big.
Yeah,
and
when
it spits out the poison. So that feels kind of
natural,
yeah,
like a poison
reasonable.
frog or like something. Yeah, that's something like an animal. Like the game is well studied. Like I imagine that for doing the game, they went and see like I don't know discovery documentals and observe some animals and take pictures of how they move.
Oh, definitely.
Because they feel like real animals all the time in the behavior and like they fight with one another for territory. They attack you and they use their environment to their advantage all the time, right? They hide, they climb into highest places, they move where they feel comfortable, and and when they feel weak, they go back to their nest because it's the safe space.
Yeah.
Right? That's the most interesting part of it.
Do you know which monster surprised me with one of these small details?
Which one?
The Ostra when with the explosions.
Yeah.
Like the thing that the yellow thing that the Ostra leaves on the map.
Yeah.
Is like sweat.
Yes.
And he ignites it with its teeth. Like it just checks, like it bites and it explodes. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of insane. But it sounds like just the fact that they put the little animation of him like biting the thing
to ignite,
to
and like it doesn't ignite by itself. No, he actually bites the thing to ignite his sweat.
It's a small detail, but it just change it completely from like a guy who's just doing explosions
Yeah,
for the
and
sake
making
of
fire and whatever thing, right?
explosions.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful detail because it makes you think about like how an animal works, right?
Yeah,
And this is a thing that I was gonna bring with like the lore building of the way that the
sure.
games will inspire you, like they will immerse you, right? And they're
Yep.
the little things that makes a thing look like they live in it and they work and they're actual organisms that reproduce and do everything else, right? And
It definitely feels like
they're
that.
the details that nobody thinks about. Poop, secretions,
The proof, yeah.
secretions like the oyster sweat, right, and everything else, and animal instinct, right, and how they grow, they change, and they leave parts of them behind because they get hurt, and that sort of stuff. And like I was thinking, I'm gonna bring an old horse back, but it's to my point, right? I was thinking like, why does Destiny doesn't convince me that the world could exist? What is the reason, right?
Yeah.
And it's because there's a few questions that the game doesn't answers naturally, right? Like for example, does Guardian eat?
No, they don't.
They don't eat, right?
No, they are immaculate.
They're machines of God, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if they're frozen in time, they should be like decaying in some way, shape, or form. I know that light keeps them working, but like the
They
thing
should
is,
be
like,
zombies. That's your point.
yeah, my point is like they should be or zombies or something else. But that's not that's not my entire point because they work with actual humans. So those actual humans, they actually eat and they poop and they do all this human stuff. And you in the tower never seen a bathroom ever. You have seen
Yeah.
a room, but you never seen a bathroom or a cafeteria or
Yep.
anything. That implies that actually living people work in that environment.
That's true.
And those are the small details, right? And if you think about the hive should be the most disgusting race in the universe, right? They're cannibalistic, they grow in pots, they fight all the time. So if you go to a hive, they should be like disgusting things all around, squishy stuff, pieces of stuff, right?
Yeah, like bodies laying around,
Yeah, exactly.
things decomposing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Should be like the most disgusting thing when you're going to a hive.
Yeah, and all this. Yeah, and all the spaces feel too clean. Like
Yes, exactly,
like
exactly.
there's a huge universal cleaning company that takes care of
Yeah. There's a hive who
cleaning all
just
the
like
mess around.
they have like the most efficient cleaning company working in Destiny 2.
It's the richest company in the Destiny 2 universe. It's
of
probably like a
course.
cleaning
They
company.
are the actually bad guy. They have all the money.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no,
they-
I completely agree. Like
right? And
those details make the world feel.
yeah, and they succeed in
lifting.
showing you. They succeed in showing you the past, right? They succeed in showing you ruins or people that were lived in. But when you are in the tower or places that are actually occupied in the moment, they don't feel lived in, right?
Yeah,
When they should feel like they should be trash. They should be waste. They should be something that like people and organisms tend to leave a mark where they are, right?
I agree.
Right? And that's my point. This is where Monster Hunters succeed, right? It's clear
It
that in the
definitely has.
campaments you have to eat, that you have to go under your stuff. There's poop everywhere in the jungle. There's waste. There's pieces of things. There are like scales of monsters when you are tracking them. There's secretions of monsters everywhere in these places, right? And those are the little things that absolutely convince you that you are actually hunting a living thing.
Yeah, a monster, not a video game boss. You see what I meant?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
That's exactly what I meant.
I was meditating, and you have to think like if you are wondering, like if you are thinking on building a living world, you have to think on this stuff, right? Not only because it enriches whatever you're doing, whatever story you're trying to do, but it gives you opportunities for interesting stories, right? Waste stories go into the sewers, uh, diseases that can be spread around these kind of parts, like problems with cities that are overpopulated, and you can apply this kind of like, oh, a lot of waste and a lot of, and you can imagine how to make it like feel more livable, right? You have to remember that wherever you put like they're living beings and they have some kind of secretions, even like high technology ones, right? If you think about the Vex do get to that point that I'm talking about, like in Destiny, because there's like organic pools everywhere, secretion of machines everywhere. When you go into a Vex stronghold, there are these like electronic pools, which has
Okay.
what the Vex secretes as machines, right? The only part of the electronic, the waste that they do, right? That's how they work. But if you think about it, it's like the most easiest thing to think. Like, what will a machine will secrete, right? But you have to go a step further to make it feel like more livable in whatever to do. And like Monster Hunter for this is special. Even the poop has a play to party Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
right? To that degree. That's what I'm talking about when you do your good world building in the small scale. Like when the poop has a play to part, an important play to part into the gameplay of your game, is because you think about that, right? It's because you think about those factors of a living being, or what happens when a thing takes a space for living and modifies it so he can like be comfortable, or takes it over, or transforms it in any shape or form.
I completely agree. And not, I mean, not only that, but oh, I lost my train of thought for a second. No, like for example, detail like now you mentioned the poop details, like the mushroom that one uses in the game to craft cooling drink.
Yeah.
Like they only grow around the areas that are hot.
Yes.
So it's like those little details, like yeah, that doesn't grow in all the places around the world, and it doesn't grow where you need it. It's kind of
Where
on
it's
its
supposed to be.
boundary,
Yeah.
but it kind of makes sense that is like,
Yes.
oh yeah, like this is a hostile environment, so it makes sense that if I wanna
Grow a mushroom.
give some believability to the fact that I can just drink something to stay cool
Yeah.
in the middle of a volcano,
Yeah.
the
You have
thing
to,
that I'm gonna use is whatever living thing is nearby. So
they're
that's why
already
we use those white mushrooms.
yeah, they already create resistance to it, and it's an actual living organism, and it's gonna help you because it lives in that environment. Right? So it
Yeah,
makes
and it
sense.
when you think about it, it's like yeah, it seems natural. It's
Yeah, it seems
not.
natural. Exactly.
It feels more like just a video game mechanic, even if it is just a video game mechanic.
Yeah, but those details give them like that touches of world building that are
Yeah.
absolutely that immerses you, right? And the encounters with each monster are very different from one another. Like
Oh, they're
they all
so different.
yeah, they all react different to you. They all do have their own tricks. They all uses their size as an advantage. They uses their like claws and tail as an advantage. Some have horns, some other doesn't have horns. If they can fly, they're the most annoying thing in the world because they fly a lot because it's their
Yeah, but
advantage.
also not all the flyers fly all the time,
Yes, that's true.
which is like there are some that have more of a grounded um, pattern of attack,
Yes,
and some of the flying ones, like they really do spend a lot of time hovering around you, making you
yeah,
annoyed.
yes,
And
definitely.
monsters like the owlers, who still
Yes,
have wings, have some sort of wings,
yeah. It's like very weird,
they
right?
cannot fly
Yeah,
because it looks heavy, and it makes sense. It's like,
it
oh
makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah, it makes sense that he needs like a huge effort to actually fly, and
yeah,
he sometimes flies, but not all the time.
yeah. No, but he's not. Yeah, like he still can lift off, but that's not
Yeah.
what he uses when he's fighting,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
and that's why he has big horns. Like, and that's kind of like everyone says that it's kind of fighting a bull in the game.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things that it's kind of telegraphed. Like you see that the monster has big horns and a big tail.
Yep.
And you kind of figure out like, okay, yeah, the guy's gonna either hit me with the horns
Or hit
or
me with
swipe
the
me
tail.
with the tail.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because but it still is not like just a game mechanic. It's just part of the design of the monster.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Absolutely correct. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, like it's a good mix between a game mechanic that you of course need because it's a video game,
Yeah.
but it's well integrated into the whole narrative that you have built so far for the game. This thing is a monster, it's a living creature, and the things that it's gonna use is not like it's not gonna pick a stick and hit you with that, you know? Like, it's already an animal, it has its own weapons.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's gonna use its body as a weapon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, we have creatures with powers here, right? Like we have weird creatures with powers, but even the weird creatures with power, I'm referring to the elder dragons, have reasoning, right? Like for example, Kirin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you find out that like in the actual monster manual, his skin is actually like he has scales and no, he has metal hair. He has some kind of combination of metal hair, so that's why and because his hair, the friction like generates electricity and attracts lightning, right?
Yeah.
Like even the fantastic monsters, they get make sense when they do their attacks, right? Right?
I completely agree. Like probably the craziest one, and again, like probably big spoilers is the last one is
Synergiva?
yeah, because he shoots
Yeah.
a laser from the mouth, and that's pushing the limits of what a monster can do.
But even they try to say because he's they say he's in a center of power.
Yeah, he's
like
born out of pure energy.
Yeah, he's born out of pure energy. Yeah, that's
fair enough. They tried,
yes.
but that one is pushing it. Like it's a laser from the mouth.
Yeah, you're taking me to Godzilla like side. Calm down.
But even with him, I'll give it a pass because it's first of all, there's only one monster.
Yes,
that is kind of that insane, and in a sense, he is the last boss of the game.
Yes. So it makes sense.
If you want to give him like a boss mechanic, laser from the mouth, okay.
Yeah, and like he's supposed to be like this big destroyer, and like it makes sense that if you're gonna be a big destroyer, you have something insane like a light destructive laser from your mouth to kill everything on your side.
That's pushing it. That's pushing it for our argument, but I agree. Like it's only one. I can get over it. It's
fine.
It was distracting the first time because we were like, what? I think I didn't mention it, but like I thought the first time that we fought it, like this is not natural. Like
clearly,
that took me off for a second.
Yeah.
But after a while, I was like, yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, and you don't kill him that often. Like, yeah, it's not that bad. Like the other weird one is Sora Magdaros. Like the fact that you don't fight him directly, but you fight on his body. Like he's so big and so old that you are actually trying to kill a mountain by destroying. A
lot of people don't like that fight, that siege.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because it wouldn't make sense for you to fight a monster that is as big as a mountain.
Yes, a walking mountain.
So I can appreciate, like, I agree the fight is not that interesting and it's kind of meh at the end. Yeah, aside from the Dragonator at the end.
Dragonator! Shoot the Dragonator!
Yeah, where's my Dragonator?
Where's my Dragonator?
Aside from that. But it makes sense. Like, dude, it would make no sense that you're trying to clip his nail.
Yes.
And kill it like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
That would be too much. Like, dude, he can just roll over and just kill you.
Like kill an entire city by just rolling over.
Yeah. So.
But yeah,
so
absolutely.
I appreciate that they could take a step back and like hold themselves a little bit
Yeah.
to say, yeah, like it wouldn't feel that natural to
Yeah, that's
have like
true.
a head-on approach to Sora Magdaros, which is this whole siege thing is kind of, yeah, it's more, it feels kind of more like a whole effort, like, yeah, the wooden wall, which of course doesn't make any sense because a wooden wall wouldn't stop a monster, but
Yeah. But those are the exceptions, right? The rest are like
yeah,
very, very, very natural. Everything makes sense inside the lore. Like for example, a monster that I like a lot is Nergigante.
Nergy. Yeah,
Nergi. Which like he
yeah,
uses everything on his power to stop you, and like he's very feels very natural, even if he feels like to the point that he feels like a big cat. He's very weird.
yeah. Like his behavior is like he jumps around. He's pretty agile for being such a big monster.
Yeah.
You know what I really like about him?
Yes.
His uh, the things that he shoots at you.
The
His spines,
spikes. The
the
spikes.
spikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it super cool that they found a way to make, because one of his attacks he can shoot the spikes at you,
Yeah.
and then again that can be like gimmicky because it's just shooting spikes.
Yes.
But what happens is that what the attack does is that it basically not burrows, but it hits the ground with its head.
Yes.
It burrows part of his head, and when he pulls it out, is that it
He
sends
rips the
flying the
spikes.
spikes.
Yeah.
I like, okay,
That makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah, because the easy answer is he'll be like, oh yeah, he just like pumps up and shoots the spike to you. Period. Right?
Yeah, but
That could be
that
it.
wouldn't make that much
Yeah.
sense.
That could be
But
it.
no, like it's an effect of like him hitting the ground, and it just feels okay. I can get behind it.
Yeah, get behind. He has a spike. He grows the spikes and he
Yeah,
uses it as a weapon because it's his ability, is what he can do, and he's been like it feels completely natural that he uses that attack with the ability that he has, that he's growing spikes, because he can he grows the spikes all the time. And the funny thing is, like when you see him idle, he actually tried to get rid of all spikes, which is the weirdest
yeah.
thing ever. You see him is crashing everywhere, and it's like, oh my god, I hate.
But that makes sense. That's what animals do. Like
Yeah, exactly.
they get itchy and they try to.
To remove and get
It's
more
yeah,
comfortable, and the fact that he's growing spikes all the time because of because the type of monster that he is, it makes sense that he has that behavior, like when he's alone in idols, like super enduring. And those are the things like that it makes this game so special when it comes to the encounters, to the hunts, to go and engage a monster, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the appeal of the game.
Yes. So in that
It's not
subtopic,
just
yeah,
yep.
not just what finishes your
No,
thought.
that is not just like a big collection of enemies to kill.
Yes.
It's way more than that.
Yes, it feels natural.
Yep,
It feels very good. It feels very good.
feels real.
It feels real to me. But on that topic, what is your favorite monster? Not an elder dragon, Lucho.
I have a tie in my heart because
Oh my
I
god.
really like Ogeron because his fight is so good.
But he's so cute.
No, but no. Wait. The cutest guy is Dogama.
Yeah, the Rogama is the cute. Yeah.
He's the cutest.
He's the cutest.
So I don't know who is my favorite. Dogama or Ogeron.
Oh, Garen?
Both of them are so cool.
Oh yeah,
They're cute and dangerous. But when they are alone, like Dogama like rolls around, it's
Yes.
so cute.
So cute. He's like, oh, pet me.
Yeah.
To the
Like he
point that
puts his belly up
yeah.
and like moves. It's
Yeah.
so cool. Dogama is best boy.
Best boy to Rogama. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
My favorite monster, this is gonna be like controversial, but my favorite monster is the B-52. Beetlejuice is my
Ooh.
favorite monster from the not elder dragon consider types.
but for the mechanics, for the fight,
For
or
everything, his design, the way he engages, the way that he feels menacing all the time, even if he is
that's true.
a low level monster, right, you always
He's
respect
not
him.
that low level, but yeah.
Well, even he is a normal monster, not considered an elder dragon classification.
Yeah.
You respect him all the time. Yes, he does becomes annoying, but that's his point, right?
Yeah.
That's his point. That's his job. Go and like find weird prey and like if the prey is, because I feel that that's the nature of that monster in particular, right? He has such a heavy one-off attack that if he fights, sorry, if he fights with a monster head on, he probably won't deal so much. So he wants his monsters distracted, right? So he just can like drop his skills on them and splash him, and he's done, right?
Fair enough.
Because he spends so much energy like flying around with all those heavy scales full of like some kind of explosive fluid, right?
Yep.
That he doesn't have the time to fly back and like go on another run, and like he takes a lot of effort flying in, so he just wants his monsters like his prey absolutely confused or take him by surprise and then just splash him. He's done and he goes back to his nest, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's why he's my favorite. He's menacing all the time. You hate him when he appears, which I feel is super endearing.
Yeah. You know, now that you mentioned something like, you know what I like about Ogeron?
What?
That he will fight with any monster.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big it is. He will attack it. It's amazing.
He has no fear, no sense of proportion, nothing.
No, he's a dog full of confidence. Like,
yes.
you can take the world on its own. Like, it's amazing. I love it.
Like, he even attacks like Balhazak, which is one of the most ridiculous like things in the game.
Everyone. It doesn't matter.
He's like, yeah, you're an elder dragon and you can actually kill me by vomiting on me. I don't care.
I don't care. But that's I like that. It's just like,
so endearing.
Yeah, you guy. Yeah. Good boy.
But I have the feeling it's like that he's super territorial, and that's why he does that all the time. He fights with everybody.
But like at this point, it also feels like that's his personality. Like it feels like only he does that, and just that's his thing. He's just the aggressive guy who he's small, but he puts a fight to everyone, no matter how big the other guy is.
Yes. It's really endearing. So we have Dodogama as best boy. I want a pet. I want to have him in my house.
I want a Dodogama best boy.
Dodogama best boy. We have Odogaron, and for me, Beetlejuice, B52 as is commonly known. But yeah, those are favorite monsters in that category. So let's talk about what makes the Elder Dragons so special in this game. Because they're the top of the food chain, the big mamas.
The alphas and the betas and the gammas.
And everything else. So what does they make him like special aside from the majority of monsters that you killed in the game?
To me, what makes them so special is that all of their encounters are memorable for the first time.
Yeah.
And that all of them have mechanics that are really unique to them.
Yeah.
And then you have never encountered before in the game. You know what I mean? Like they feel really unique to me.
Yeah.
Like for me when we were playing actually.
Yeah.
Like before we start fighting Elder Dragons, I thought, I can deal with monsters. I can do it. Like even if I've never encountered it, I just felt confident.
All right.
And then the Elder Dragons came and kicked my ass. Like, oh no, damn. Damn.
I thought I had this game master in the pocket.
But no.
All of the window. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very special fights because they're supposed to
They
be
are.
the most dangerous things in the land, right? And for once you cannot capture them, right? All the other
Yeah,
monsters that
first of all.
we've been talking about, you at the end can like weaken them, and then you can capture to study. But the other dragons you cannot. These animals, no matter what, they will fight you till the end of times.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot capture. They're kind of immune to some traps, so they're dangerous. They don't fight. Like once engaged, like there's some that are pacifists, but once engaged, they will fight you till the end.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like they have like this very unique, like they not only use their tools as an animal as the rest, but they have special tools that they use very effectively, right? They're the top chain, and we'll put Kirin as an example, right? For an animal so small, the amount of power that he can command just for the fact that he has like metallized hair is insane as a horn, right?
Yeah.
He can bring down like any creature. Like if you think about it, you can like electrocute any creature and it will be weakened and easy prey, right? And that's kind of the point of the elder dragons, that they're super lethal in their own category because they're kind of like specialized monsters at some degree.
Yeah, and all of them have their own unique thing.
Yeah.
Like Kushala has its how they called?
What?
The wind things that he lives on the map.
Wormels or like cyclones.
Yeah, werewolves. Yeah.
Yeah, wormels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
So that's a thing that never happens before.
Yes.
And like when you go to fight him, like you don't know how to deal with it, and he meets this wind pressure out of him, and like all the arrows bounce and all the attacks bounce,
And
and you don't know what to
it sends you
do.
flying through the air without any control.
Yeah, and that's it's the thing. It's just it just he's and okay. I should be clear. Like all the little dragons are really annoying to fight with if you're not prepared for the fight. Like
Yes.
for them, you have to be prepared for each specific one.
Yes, be prepared. Yes.
And until this day, I have a loadout for each one of them.
Yes.
There is no, or at least not for me. Like I'm just a casual player, I guess. But like I don't have a build that can deal with everyone. If you know what I mean. Like
yes. And generally, like
when I fight Kushala, I my build has windproof.
Yes. And generally there is not like one build which is like good against everything. Like at that point in the Elder Dragon sections.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And
that's the point. That's the point because they're specialized
so
animals. Like so far when you've been hunting, you kind of like see similarities between them. Oh, a Puki Puki, and then you go and fight a Ratian, and you're like, oh, well, it's a Puki Puki big that flies a lot and spits fire instead of acid, right? The kind of evolutions on top of themselves, right? You have like, and then you have the Diablos things, which are like, oh yeah, they're like Ratian, but they don't fly. They ram you with their horns, right? And they burrow. But they're not doing anything like super radical. But once you see the elder dragons, that's when the specialization goes into the other stream, right? They become super specialization animals, like very very poignant of what they're trying to do, how they're gonna fight, right? And they make them super unique.
Yeah, I would say that at that point in the game, you can manage the encounters with a singular build, whatever build you're going for.
Yes.
So, for example, one of my most generalist builds is a crit build for dual blades.
Yep.
And with that, I can kill all the normal monsters.
Yes,
very but with that, I cannot kill any of the elder dragons. At least that. Okay. Maybe a normal version, but at this point,
Yeah.
not the
Not
not the air
not the
temper
third.
versions of the elders.
And that's the point. Like the game evolves so harshly on the Elder Dragons that is super refreshing. Because so far you've
Yeah,
been like killing with whatever favorite thing that you are doing. Like I remember, like I was just like playing with a bow and arrow and like
and it doesn't work.
a creep bow and arrow, and then you go and fight with this Elder Dragons, and
It
then you
doesn't
see
work.
your arrows bounce, and you start crying in a corner.
And I think that's what Elder Seal is for, but like
Yeah,
all the Elder
but
Dragons have a mechanic to bounce
projectiles.
either
Yeah,
hits or projectiles.
yeah. But it's like, and that's when you start to think like, oh, okay, I have to actually like do something radical to kill this dude because
That's when you think, oh shit, I have to do something.
and that's the nature of the other dragons, that they force you to go to those extreme because they are extreme monsters in their own
They
categories.
make you think, like,
Yes, exactly. How
like
do I?
either you go out and look for a build or a guide that someone else did,
Yes.
or you have to figure out on your own to try things, and that's really refreshing for the game.
Yeah,
Like,
and by this point you being like almost by the end of the like 75% of the story, you've been playing like almost for like a big chunk of the game before you get to
Yeah.
other dragons, right? And you think that the game has nothing, like you're like, oh
Has
yeah, I
nothing
figured
else for
out.
you.
Yeah, I figured
me.
out. Cool.
like what happened to me.
And then it's just like puts your world upside down. Not only like opening you to Elder Dragons, but like then later they open to Arc Temper Dragons, which is to Arc Temper Monsters, which is like monster more stronger. Like so to pair you up with like the escalation of the power, it's a very smooth curve. It's like a little bit of a tip climb here when you start getting to the Elder Dragon sections, but that's what the game wants you to do, right? That's what the game are forcing you to do. Is like, look, you're gonna fight with this, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. You need to be prepared, super prepared, to if you wanted to defeat like one of the most difficult challenges on the game, technically speaking, right? At that point.
Yeah. What is your favorite Elder Dragon? Yes.
My favorite Elder Dragon.
For whatever reason.
I will always love Nergigante.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I never think of him as an Elder Dragon, but yeah, he is.
He is an Elder Dragon. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Nah, for Balhazak is my favorite. I don't know why.
Balhazak is your favorite? He's
Yeah.
so menacing, man. He's so
It's a pain in the ass. But it's
oh
fun.
my god. Like that fight and Kirin are the two, like in the Elder Dragon sections, are like you struggle a lot.
Yeah, we did struggle a lot, and I think to this day I cannot kill Balhazak in a public group. Like
So difficult.
it's not like Air Temper Balhazak. Okay, just to
Okay.
be clear.
Yeah.
Not the normal monster, but like Air Temper Balhazak.
Yeah.
I cannot go to a group of randoms and kill it.
You do it in like one on 5 attempts, 1 on 6 attempts, I
Yeah.
would say.
With
Around
random
there?
people.
With random people, yeah. 1 on 6
Yeah.
attempt, 1 on 5 attempt, because you find like at least one or two of the other people actually are prepared for the fight, and they are helping you, right? But most often than not, people are not very careful around him.
But even if you are prepared, like that's the thing that I like about Balhazak. Like he has attacks that they're just gonna destroy you, no matter how
what,
prepared you are,
even
no
to the-
matter how many
like-
times you have fought it.
To the point that I take this super tanky build, like the most tanky build that you can imagine in the game, and even so with that, I sometimes fail. I fail.
Yeah.
Like being this like very hard to kill dude, like he's healing all the time, and like every hit like heals you, and you have like protection against all his attack. Even like that, sometimes randomly he just like vomits on you or like jumps on top
It's
of you and you're
just
dead.
random.
Yeah.
He will jump on you and kill you. Like
Yeah. You're dead. You're a cockroach
Yeah.
fighting against a boot. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know why. Like, I was having a really hard time hunting him, like
Yeah.
his our temper version,
Yeah.
and I like it so much because when I finally kill it by myself,
Yeah.
it just felt so good. Like I think I died like the first time that I killed it alone.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't die throughout the fight,
Yeah.
and I died twice in the nest,
Oh my God.
and it
Yeah.
didn't like that last life that I had. Like it was like I put again all my barrels and things, and I exploded in his face, and it was like, this is my last effort.
I can do it.
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Die.
And that gives you that thrill of the hunt in Monster Hunter World. Man, that's so
that
good.
feeling of got it. Like it was hard, it was difficult, but got it.
I think I felt that thrill of the hunt not with Bahasad but with Teostra. The first time that we were to kill him, like it was super close fight, and we finally killed him at the end. We were like,
Yeah, he was also really close the first time that we did it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I didn't feel that way with him.
I really like it. I really like Teostra and Lunastra. I really like those fights. They made me feel that thrill of the hunt more than Valhalla. For me, kill Valhalla is super methodic, right? It's like I have to sit here and like wait for him to do X, Y, and then when he blah blah blah, and then he does this, and then I do that, and then I have to go back
that
like I feel it super methodic. But with Lunastra and Teostra, because the fights are more maybe because they're more agile monsters, right? They feel a little bit more wild.
Maybe, but I don't know. Like one of the things that I actually enjoy about Monster Hunter is the fact that at the end of the day, it's a super methodic game. Like is like when we talk about the competitive scene, you'll know what I mean. And
yes, I know.
but I like that.
That's
I like that. Yeah, that like you know that it's gonna do this. You have to prepare like this.
Yeah.
You know what to do in certain parts of the map, and
Yeah.
I like that. It just
Well, I will say that I enjoy more the fights with Teostra and Lunastra that Valhazak. I will say that I think that's my point.
It's a personal preference. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Even all these monsters, like they're super difficult to kill. They're super difficult to fight, right? Because they sometimes they have. So far, you've been like trying to like decipher the patterns of a monster, right? They move this way, they move that way, they blah blah blah. But then you start to get like to our tempers, and then and then to Elder Dragons and our tempers, they variate their movement. They do more wild attacks. They do things that takes you by surprise, right? Even if you're prepared by it, like they do this quick movement, and then they run you over with like the tail or one like a paw, and then you're out of position, and then you suffer and take a bunch of damage. And like that's so endearing with the fights in that stage.
It is like you have to somehow be on top of your game, but it's more than that. It's like you cannot with some of the other monsters, you can just forget about the game a little bit after some point. Like after you know the fights enough.
Yeah.
You're kind of like autopilot a lot of the fights.
Yes.
But I feel like I've never been able to do that with the Elder Dragons.
No, never.
Or
the art temper versions, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they always keep you on your toes. Like
yes, absolutely.
Even if you know the fight, even if you have the experience and you are for sure,
and you know what you have to do,
you're sure that you're gonna get it.
There's some point where everything goes wild and everything goes for the window, and you're like,
yeah, like if you step in the wrong place, it's gonna punish you. If you don't Superman dive at the right moment, it's gonna kill you.
Yeah. And like this monster, by this point, like this monster has like the majority of these Elder Dragons in the art temper versions, they have like one shot attacks, right?
Yeah.
Right, and they're like, and you have to be aware what attacks are, because sometimes people like, yeah, I can take this attack. Yeah, I did it in the normal version. Why not? And you're dead.
Yeah.
Or you didn't dodge right, thinking that you were out of the range, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Nergigante has that because his dive bomb has a huge range.
It's ridiculous. Or the scream of Kushala Daora, for example. That one is the one that irritates me. because
Oh,
he
the
looks
stun lock that he can push you in.
yeah, because it looks like he does a bunch of those attacks, right?
Yeah.
But the one shot, it just takes a little longer to inhale.
Oh, it's not a scream. It's like a beam of wind that he
Yeah,
shoots at you.
exactly. Yeah. The ball of wind, right? He does it all the time. He throws wind at you all the time. He sits down to it. But the one shot attack, he just takes like
Yeah.
1 second extra, right?
Yeah.
and he has like a little bit longer range. And if you don't dodge this, you're dead. Like you're like 99% of the times you're dead. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's super quick attack on top of that, right? It's like
Yeah, but
a super quick being, right?
but knowing all those small things is where the enjoyment of the game is. Like,
yes, because it takes
it's
time.
getting to know these things. Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes time. It takes a lot of
try and error,
failings and deaths. But
yeah, we died a lot when we were like hunting our tempers and that sort of stuff, and we still
Yeah.
die a lot when we try to go for farming something.
Yeah.
Air quotes here. Yeah, farming something, and we died to other ranks. All right. So now we talked about map design,
yeah.
right? That if you see the maps of Monster Hunters, they're like big areas connected by corridors, right?
That's basically what. And if you have ever seen the older games, the older Monster Hunter games,
yeah,
that's exactly what they are. Like they're like big arenas connected by loading screens. Like the difference is that in the world we don't have those loading screens anymore.
yeah,
They're just physical corridors. But yeah, like at a basic level, it's just that, and it sounds super boring.
yep. In
But
paper,
it is not.
what is that? In paper, it looks super boring. But two things that they do very, very good in Word is one, verticality. They use
On top of
verticality
that,
a lot, right? They use like climb ups, climb downs, caverns, underground places, trees on top of trees. That's one tool, and the other is they do this very cool thing that you never see, that the jungle is a corridor, that the environment is an actual corridor, because it makes sense.
It doesn't feel like a straight line.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's
it
not
makes
just
sense. Like if you're in a corridor, you're surrounded by mountains, which makes sense, right? If you're going from one place to the other and you're surrounded like by high peaks or like low lows, then you have to walk through this path. Otherwise, you will die or you cannot climb a mountain, for example, right? If you're in the jungle places, then you go through corridors because the places around you are super thick with fauna, and going through it will actually need you to go with a machete and try to make a path, right? And it feels like formed naturally because the monsters move through this path, so they have like broken branches, and
it feels like the paths that the same monsters have made for themselves.
Yes.
More than just human-made roads.
Yes. And not only that, but the way the maps are constructed, they make you feel immersed all the time because they never show like their boundaries completely, right? The boundaries are always like trees, dense fauna, a big vista, sometimes with a cliff, big desert, big mountain that is blocking your path, or like a closed lake, or like, so they make it feel like very natural, and the spaces doesn't feel small at all, right?
Yeah.
In near the corridors. Yeah.
You know, in what aspect did they succeed for me on the map design, that I was like that I got lost in the maps.
Yeah.
You know, like
yes.
On the first one, on the forest.
Yes.
I forgot the name of the map. Sorry.
The forest. Yeah.
Like I'll get lost. Like honestly lost. Like, oh, shit,
I need a market.
I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And that's a big win for me, because that's how a forest or a jungle, quote unquote, should feel. Like you should feel
like you get lost.
Like you don't know where you're going, that you can be walking on circles all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, with time, like that doesn't happen anymore. Like we already know the maps
Yeah, because you
well
record
enough.
you run them a lot, and then you start to
Yeah,
recognize like points, and you know where you are. But at the beginning, when you're not familiar with the maps,
we got lost. Like I got lost
yeah,
a good couple of times
yeah,
at the beginning. Like,
yeah,
and that's huge because they never like when I realized that I was getting lost, it was like I wasn't thinking of the environments just a map,
yeah,
but again, just like another thing in the game. It's just another space in the game that was
yeah.
not just
A
a
natural
map that I could
habitat.
just navigate with the mini map thing on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
UI.
Yes, that's true. And I think the strong part is like the verticality. They use the verticality in this game so good. Not only for fights, but in the construction of the maps. Like you see the map and it's like, oh, this looks very small, right? For example, the Rotten Vale. Like if you see it from on top, it looks very small. But when you actually record it, it's like on top there is an entire area, and then under that area there is another area, and then under that area there is another area. It has like 3 to 4 floors, the Rotten Vale. When
All
you
of them have
actually
3 or 2 floors.
no, it actually has like the bottom where Baja cliffs, like the acid area, and then has the middle area where Odogaron lives, and they have the upper two upper areas where the one with the spikes lives, the one that rolls down.
Mm, I'm pretty sure it only has 3 floors, but okay.
Yeah, there's one more upper area because remember that
It only
it actually
I'm
has
100% sure it has 3 floors.
all right. It actually has elevators, which like little caves that sends you from
Yeah,
one floor to the other. Because even even if the map is not that big, even if the map is not that big, it actually feels
they
really
feel
big
really big.
because
I
of the
agree with you.
verticality, right?
But I still, just to be correct, the Rotten Vale only has 3 floors.
All right, fair enough. And then, for example, in the jungle, you have like caverns underground for passing from one area to another, and then you have like
Yeah.
nest on top of the trees.
Oh, that part where you can like walk in between the trees.
Yeah,
That is next to the highest part of the map.
yeah,
That's really cool. Like
yeah,
all those walking in between the branches and the trees. I like that zone quite a lot.
yeah. And you're using the verticality of the maps all the time, either to do it tricks to mount or fight monsters in the air, to actually dangling for the little like scabbards pieces.
No, that's why you play Sword and Shield, because you can mount monsters. You can do everything.
I
We
know,
already have this
but I'm
discussion.
talking about the map. Talking about
I
the
know,
map, but
doesn't matter.
all right, fair
The
enough.
Sword and Shield is stronger than any map.
Fair enough. So
But I agree.
yeah,
The verticality of the maps
it's
is a
marvelous.
strong point.
It's like absolutely delightful, and like I've never seen that like that used so effectively in such a dynamic in such a small place, right? Because they use the verticality super effectively. Walls, trees, then hanging things, traps, and everything. The environments tend to be very tall, even they're not very big, and that factor makes them feel really big, right? The fact that you go up and down, that these monsters can actually fly in the environments, like out of your convenience wave to actually fight them,
Yeah.
right? And on top of that, how how do you explain why exploring in Monster Hunter World the maps feels really rewarding?
I, Again, it comes down to I think it comes down to a mastery of the game in general, and that's because the first time that you encounter something in the game
Yeah,
or anything in the game,
yeah,
a new monster or a new map or a new mechanic,
yeah.
it's so deep that it makes you feel a little bit dizzy, I guess. it just it's just somehow overwhelming everything for the first time,
Yeah,
and the game does a really good job on having a lot of depth and making you spend a lot of time with the maps and with the monsters and with the systems so that you feel enticed to explore the thing and put up the time to master it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that, like, once you reach destination, you can look back and say, "Oh, I really did explore this map a lot," or I really did learn this fight a lot." And
and I really know everything, right?
yeah, and when you realize that you have certain level of mastery of the game, you say, "Yeah, this was a journey. This felt like I went through stuff to
Yeah,
get here." And
and
that's where the exploration, like, you just feel like I explored this game.
yeah, and I think on top of
For me,
that, I will say that the other thing that the game does very well is reward you a lot for your exploration, for the time that it takes
yeah.
for you to explore parts of the map, to explore builds, to explore the systems, because not only the game shows you the map, but it actually rewards you with like new campments when you can start your mission like closer to it. It rewards you with like little treats as like the palico mechanics, like the palico weapons,
The gadgets,
the
yep,
gadgets. They all come from exploring the map,
yep,
right? To talk with the galajacas,
yep.
yeah, and the other wild palicos, all that comes from you exploring the map and go through every nook and cranny, every like little corridor, finding like everything around the map, and like that and it rewards you straight away. Like in the first map, you find a little cave and then you see one of these like little cats running around, and you follow him into like this rabbit hole like Alice in Wonderland, and then you find the cabin of the of the little cats living around, and they become your friends, right?
Yep.
And like that's marvelous. You just like you were going to kill a monster, and then you end up like chasing a rabbit. What else like closer to it, and then you become super rewarding with a new item, with a new place to explore, with a beautiful vistas, because this game is beautiful. All the maps are gorgeous in terms of
Yeah,
art
no,
direction, right?
it is so good looking.
Yeah, like in terms of art direction and everything, this game is super pretty. Like every vista that you find is rewarding in itself, but not only that, but in a mechanical way. You find new places to actually like use your abilities to fight a monster, and you know, ah, yeah, there is a cave here, so I can start from here, and I take him to here, and then I can trigger this trap that exists in the map. And that's the way that the game rewards you a lot for exploration and keeps you doing that, keeps you exploring every single of the game, because it's super rewarding when you do, right? Generally in the other games, when you explore maps, you find collectibles and that sort of stuff, which is fine, which is the way that you should do it. Like you should reward exploration so to keep your playing exploring. But Monster Hunter World does it in such a natural and endearing way that it's like super rewarding, that it actually like encourages you to explore more part of the maps. Not only from the part of like a collectionist and I have to see it all, but for the part of like this is a mechanic advantage inside the game.
Yeah, yeah. Even for me, that I wouldn't care necessarily for all the mechanical advantages. Like, I don't know, like, just the fact that it's just a pursuit of knowledge for me. Like,
Yeah.
just knowing the game is rewarding. That's knowing what's up,
Everybody
being in
like
the loop.
everybody gets hooked to different things, right? But
Yep.
the thing that makes him succeed is like he's rewarding you in various form. Like I never forget the first time that we went to the bird nest in the jungle map to fight
Yeah.
Radian, and it
Yep.
was like super impressive. And then when the rocks fell down and the actual like waterfall comes in, and that you can fall
Oh yeah.
down from there, and like and then you have to be careful because you can fall down very far and then end up lost, right? And then you see all the map and all the nature from the bird's nest, like super rewarding, like in all those different types of facets, in all those different like types of rewards that the game does. Like I think that's the reason why it succeeds so well, because not only rewards you in one sense, that collectionist or knowledge, but it rewards you in a lot of different senses, in a lot
Yeah.
of different ways.
It has something for different types of players. That's
Yes,
definitely true.
yes,
I definitely
yes.
agree with that.
Yep. So yeah, that's why it succeeds so well in terms of exploration. All right, I'm gonna like kind of take a left turn and talk about customization for some reason. And the
Is
layer
there?
armor system.
It is a little bit of a left turn, but it comes from like so far we haven't criticized that much the game,
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
and to be fair, there are some things that are not that interesting in the game, and
All right, it's time to talk
and
about
so
it.
so far, yeah, we have to talk about it. And so far we've been big proponents of having like a strong customization
Yeah,
systems in this type of or on the type of video game that we enjoy.
yeah,
We are like buying to spend a lot of time with our characters and hunters and whatever.
yes,
And I feel like in Monster Hunter that's probably the weakest point for me, and is that first of all, if you wanna be efficient in your hunt, you end up looking like a clown with your armor
absolutely. Yeah,
because it's just a mismatch of things,
yeah,
and there is no way to solve it because the layering armor system is too restrictive.
yes,
Like you, like for the most part, you put the whole layer. At like there are just a few layer armors that you can split in pieces.
yeah,
So it's either you set up for one of those looks, but a lot of these layer armors are dissonant with the rest of the game, like especially the ones that come from events and things like that, like
yeah. For example,
the Dante's
the Dante
layer
skin. Yes,
armor.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like yeah,
So it will be really nice, for example, that we could unlock somehow every armor piece as a layer armor. Like
yeah.
either you have to craft it and put a lot of materials into it or
Whatever tickets
whatever.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, whatever you think is fair for just a cosmetic thing that
yeah,
it really doesn't matter. But like by this point, a lot of people have, again, a bunch of resources and they can dump stuff into dumb
yeah,
things like looking good.
yeah, yeah.
So something like that would be really nice to just to be able to match better some of the looks. For example, Garon's armor,
Oh, it's beautiful.
it's so good looking,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
but
Yeah,
it's not that like the skills that it has are not that useful. And when and like you never get to wear it complete like the whole armor because really some of the parts are just crappy.
yeah.
So like, oh, such a waste. Like that armor is so good looking.
Yeah, and then like it's very weird because for a long time, like you're preaching to a choir, Luch, in this problem, right?
I know.
You're preaching to a choir, and for a long time we've been saying to Capcom, please give us all the armors, layer armors, do whatever you want, but please give us blah blah blah. Why? Because yes, they do a lot of like nice looking cosmetic special events. Like we're not saying that they don't do the effort, right? But there's
No, they
so
yeah.
many interesting cosmetics in the game that you never end up using. That is a waste of design time, right? For me, of
Yeah.
our time, of like work of people who put hours and hours design this beautiful
Oh,
set match of like they come from the monster and like they look beautiful. Like the majority of the sets are very good looking, right? Except for like bone and like the leather ones. There's some like very crappy old
it's
ones.
aesthetic thing. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I like the basic sets actually, like
yeah,
how they look, like the leather, the basic leather one that you get at the beginning.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I really like how it looks,
yeah.
but
But to my point is like we've been like asking for this, and what ends up happening is like you marry to a look, and you have no much like room to like to experiment with looks, right?
yeah,
And that what happens like everybody looks kind of uniform in some shape or form.
kind of save me. Yeah,
Yeah, kind of samey, and it's just a waste because you have so many designs that are cool. So many parts of monster that are good looking. I would love to have my hunter use pieces of like Teostra and Lunastra combined, because those two, like those blue with reds, they look very cool. They look very they look very electric, right? Or
I
like
mean,
use
I
this
don't like
piece.
your style, but sure,
Yeah,
whatever rocks your boat.
I'm doing an example. I'm doing an example. Or like there's some very cool pieces of Valhazak that like glows,
Yeah,
right? But there are other pieces that are very weird, very bad looking. So if you can like combine those pieces of Alhazak with a cool pants or something like that, and then you have like a huge space to work with your cosmetic, and everybody will look different and everybody will be happy. But for some reason, nobody knows what's the reason. They don't do it, and it's funny because they keep
no,
having like layer armors, and it's clear that they have a system for layer armors per pieces and then layer armors complete. And what is the problem of like taking that same system and just exporting all those models that you already have into, like, nobody knows why, right? And it's been like a year, I think, from the launch of Monster Hunter, a year and a half, a year and two
yeah,
months, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and everybody's saying the same. Please give us layer armor for all the armor pieces. They're beautiful.
Ah,
Please, please,
please, yeah.
Capcom, please. And yeah, that's a weak point. For some reason, they haven't seen it. They have like some beautiful sets.
They,
Uh,
they have really nice looking pieces of armor. It's
yes,
just that
just a waste of
some of them
spice.
you don't get to use, and basically, if at some point you care out having an optimal build for your weapon, you're kind of like into that look, or honestly, not that many options. It's
Yeah,
kind of it
like
gets boring at some point.
yeah. For
Sadly, like
example, I haven't changed look since I got the Dante's set, right?
yeah,
For forever, and it's like kind of boring. Like you want like more stuff. You want like, I would love to have like loadouts with certain like looks, for example.
yeah,
Like I have this loadout of Bajasak, so I know that my loadout of Bajasak looks like XY. So when you're scrolling
yep.
through them, you can like not only identify them for the name in the loadout list, but you can identify for the way it looks, for example. And that would be like that would be like beautiful, right?
I completely agree with that. That's yeah, that's and that is tied to an next point in the in the document actually is that the weapons suffer somehow the same problem that they're kind of plain looking weapons.
Yeah.
Like they don't look like a lot of the weapons. Like the game has a bunch
Of
of weapon
trees,
in
yeah,
each
yeah,
tree.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
A lot of them they just look like the basic bone or iron weapon,
yeah.
and you just stick pieces of monsters on top
Yeah,
of
so
them.
I will put an eye here, a feather here, a scale, some
And
teeth behind.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I like them, but they're too plain looking, and that gets all, and it'll be really nice also to have something to change the looks of some
Yeah.
of the weapons,
Eh,
because you still want to use a good weapon, but maybe you get tired of the look, and
yeah, like if you look like the look of a weapon, but it's super crappy, you're like,
yeah,
ah. So same
that's a
problem
shame.
with the layer armor as the weapons.
It's kind of the same. It's and like again that maybe a lot of people don't care about it, but for me it's important. Like
Yeah.
looking as flashy as I want in a game.
And like it's part of your enjoyment when you are playing a role play game. You want to
Yep.
your character to look as unique as you can, right? Even in
Yeah.
like it's like a super weird conflict that this game has with customization, when they give you like this huge screen customization for your character and you end up not seeing the face of your character that much. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, right? It's like weird dichotomies that the game has, right? So you're
But
gonna
I
spend a
mean,
lot of time.
but I would argue that the game gives you the option to hide your helmet.
Yes, exactly. No, yeah, of course. But like in the hands, you're not watching and you're
Oh yeah, you never pay
yeah, that's my
yeah,
point. Yeah.
it's way more important how your armor looks than how your
Yes,
face looks.
exactly my
Completely
point.
agree.
And
Yeah.
then you have like a very big customization for your for your face than for the actual weapons in the games. and the
Yeah.
armors in the game, right? That's the weird dichotomy that the game has, right? And like it's a shame because there's some beautiful. Apparently, I've heard, but we're not trying to be spoiled by Iceborne, but apparently I've heard that they kind of fixed this problem. The weapon looking in the iceberg, but we will see in December.
We'll see when we play because we're trying to avoid all
All the spoilers, yeah.
spoilers for the game.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's something that is not there, but I wanted to mention that we're talking about customization.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest drivers in the PC modding community for Monster Hunter World. Like
Yes.
like changing the looks and that just means like look, like the people do care about it. Like
It's clear your community cares about it. It's been telling you for a year.
not only that, but like they care so much that they are putting the time to develop the modes.
Yes.
To change how things look, like how weapons look, how and there's a huge like an incredibly huge amount of like visual mods for Monster Hunter.
Yes,
like,
absolutely crazy. Yeah.
You want your long swords to look like other games or other stuff, or just glow or
whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you. Maybe some of the mods go too far and they just look too crazy.
Yes.
But but still, like there are just mods that make some of the armor, some of the existing models for armor.
Yeah.
Just have all of as layer armors.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that shouldn't be given to players through a modding community.
Yeah.
But should be a thing in the game.
Yes, exactly, absolutely.
Like the glowing beans that we discovered.
Yeah, like the glowing beans. This thing, man. This thing, yeah, I forgot about this. We've been using this mod for so long that we forget that it's not in the default game.
It is.
Right? I forget that it's not in the default game. Like, I swear to you.
It's not part of the game.
So, and this is terrible in the game. Like, this is absolutely a mistake. Like a clear glowing mistake. The monsters, when you actually hit them, they actually drop stuff. Parts, materials, resources, and stuff. Right?
Pieces,
in the floor.
Like ammo for the slinger shot.
Yes. In the floor. They actually like come out from your monster in the floor and they have like this little glow. Like a thing. Like a glow. But in the middle of it are the cows that you're fighting this huge behemoth and like rocks and people running everywhere.
Not only the cows, but like since the monsters look that they belong to environments that they are in, as we just discussed.
Yeah.
Like the colors of the things that they actually drop, these little like things are the same color of the environment. So Garon drops a scale on the Rotten Vale.
Yeah.
And it's like this dark red.
Yes.
In this background of dark yellow and brown.
Yes.
Like, it's freaking impossible to see a thing.
It's impossible. And they have this weird system when if you get close to it, they kind of shine white, like a little bit of a blink.
Yeah, it's just
like a little blinky.
Tiny little shine.
Yeah, and like there's some environments like what is the one with the one in the sky, the one when you fight Karen.
The coral hydrants?
The coral hydrants. The coral hydrants, they have a lot of shiny stuff everywhere.
A lot of like bluish, white, like light blue thing. Like that's the color palette of the place, and like that faint glow gets lost. It's like,
and it's awful, man. Like when we started using the mod, it's like we realized that we're losing so many materials.
When I told you about the mod.
Yeah, when you told me. It's like, oh my god. Like to the point like we're like, man, this monster like drops a lot of stuff. Like actually little explosions, you see like all the little pieces when you're fighting a monster everywhere. And you're like, what is happening? And you like start to take it back into the game and you're like, I didn't pick up like no nearly half of this stuff that I'm picking up now, right?
Yeah.
And that's a terrible decision flaw. You like if you're dropping stuff on the floor that is important, that are resources, that are rewards for your player, you should make it like super clear, right? Super clear. Please pick this up. Oh my god.
I agree.
Right? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, the modding community was a godsend for us
Absolutely, in that
PC
regard.
players.
Yeah, and like we try not to mod too much the game. The only mods that we use are that one and the other of the one on the Gathering Hub. At least that's the
Yeah,
only two mods that we use.
that other one is also, I also think, is a huge oversight because they have this hub, like this place on the player base
Yeah,
where you can interact with other players, but none of the NPCs are available.
yeah,
So basically, since whenever you go back to whenever you are back to a hunt, you want to go to a smithy and see what can you craft. You want to go to collect your things that you are farming. You want to do all these things,
yeah,
and none of those NPCs are available in the gathering hub by default. So you have to go down, like stay through a loading screen, do the
yeah.
stuff, go back to the gathering hub.
Through
So
another
it
load
doesn't
screen.
to another loading screen. So it doesn't make sense for the players to use that. And it's actually really nice to
Yeah, it's a really
be
nice area,
around. Like if
really
you're playing with
convenient.
someone
Yeah,
like us, it's really nice to
yeah, super convenient. Really nice
yeah.
area to be around. It's really, really nice looking, and like you want to stay there to play with people, right? If you're playing
Yeah,
alone,
when
the
you're playing with
town will
friends,
make you go.
you wanna look at everyone. Like
Yeah, yeah, and coordinate and everything else. But yeah, but those are like the weakest point of Monster Hunter World. All right, talk to me about the competitive scene, my friend.
so, so the competitive scene is again one of these things that rewards and like the mastery of the game. Like you know these how are they called? Arena Quest? No, they're
Yeah,
not Arena Quest. Are they Arena?
yeah,
The ones that
they're
give you like a preset loadout.
yes, Arena Quests.
Yeah, you have
Yes.
this Arena Quest where they basically have, they give you a monster to hunt or a set of monsters to
No, no,
hunt.
no, no, no. No Arena Quest challenges.
Challenges. That's
Yes, yes, it's challenges.
you're absolutely right.
Arena quests
That's
are the other ones that you go and hunt a monster in an arena.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the challenges.
yeah, yeah.
So you have so you have like this set of monsters and these 3 different loadouts that you can pick, and it's done in teams of 2.
Yep.
And with that loadout that you pick, that it's like none of the farming that you're doing through a normal game has any effect on that.
Yes, they're like close
You go
loadouts.
you go to a fighting arena and you do your thing.
So it's purely
And
skill mechanic.
It's not only purely mechanic skill with the weapons, but it's knowledge about the things. So you have to go to the gear stuff, look what's in the loadout, like which traps you have,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
materials you have, because sometimes they give you materials
Yeah.
to craft more stuff. And you have to develop a strategy based on that and based on your partner. And like you see this crazy
Wow.
are you watching the video that I put there?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. So basically on the like on these competitions,
Yeah.
like you have these teams of 2 that select the loadouts that they want. They go to a hunt, and you can see that they like a stun lock for the whole fight, Visual Goose, and like they just abuse the monsters, like just abuse them, and it's so much fun. And it's like some people don't like it because they say that
Wow.
is that they want to.
They actually
like,
have teams and like people train
Yeah.
them. What?
There's a whole thing. This game is huge in Japan. And what are you talking about? Of course, they have teams.
Oh my god! I'm gonna actually put this in the YouTube version. Look.
Yeah, just put the link in the YouTube version. It's fine.
Yeah.
And but it's super interesting how like these people know all the mechanics, and they know all the weapons that they can just run out, like just abuse any monster, abuse them in such a fun way. And like people say, oh yeah, but that's not that interesting because you never get to see like flashy dives and like flashy moves. And but
Yeah.
to my point, like my point is like that's like for sure knowing the weapon and knowing when to avoid that attacks and stuff like that is part of the game.
Yeah.
But the game is way more than that. Like the knowledge that these guys have,
Yeah.
or that these people have of the game, that knowing what traps to craft, what they can do with the material that they're giving to you, because these loadouts are set up, like they're just given to you.
Yeah.
So there is no there is no. You don't have extra decoration. You don't have extra skill. Like it is what it is,
It is what it is. Yeah, whatever you have.
and you have to do the most out of that. So it's those random things, and they kill
What?
monsters in like 2 minutes. It's insane. I love like it's so much fun. and that's what I say that I that's what I mean when I say that this game is about mastering all the systems.
Yeah.
Like you see these people hunting monster with this kind of quote unquote random arrangements of weapons and gear stuff.
And
But it is
that's
not like it is
yeah.
well thought.
Yeah,
They just master everything.
Yeah, it looks like
So
a
that's what
true
I would like
mastery of the
to.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Holy crap.
it's about mastering the whole game,
Yeah.
not only the weapon of the and the movement. It's how
And the
like
things that you use and the things now it's just like actually all the systems in the game. Wow, it looks insane, Lucho. This looks insane.
yeah, like if you have ever played Monster Hunter and you have ever thought, oh, this monster is so hard, you have to go to one of these competitions and look at the people hunting these monsters.
They use
Like pros doing it.
barrels in a weird way, like
Yeah, it's just
it's super weird.
and it's super fun because you can see how
Wow.
like when they make mistakes, it's just
Yeah.
the smallest mistake. Like they put a arrow on the wrong place,
Yeah.
or they put a trap on the wrong place, and they just throws away the whole strategy that they were building. Oh, it's so interesting for some reason to me. Like,
Wow, double hunting horn with a biscuit goose.
yeah, see, like crazy
What?
stuff like that, and they just stun lock the monster. Like, just they abuse it like bad. Like,
Wow, yeah, you're using like one trap and after the other, then they sleep him, and then oh my
then
god,
they
it's
knock him
insane.
down.
Yeah, knock down, and then sleep him again. How are
All
they
the
sleeping
things.
in him? What? Ah, with the ability of the hunting horn, of course. Wow, apothecary. They're using every part of the ham.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, wow, super insane. Like one trap after the other. Wow, super efficient. Wow, knockdown again. Crazy, man. This is crazy.
It's crazy. And that's when you see, dude, we are so bad at this game.
Yeah, we don't know how to play Monster Hunter World. So forget it. We waste like 1,500 hours of our life doing nothing.
we are filthy casual, like
Yeah, filthy
2,000 hour
casuals.
filthy casual players.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is absolutely
like,
crazy.
yeah, I'm only bringing this to discussion because it just shows how many things you have to like you can master, and
Yeah.
how does it look when you actually do master all the things.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
So much
Absolutely.
fun.
I agree. That was totally crazy. All right, and that concludes the deep dive of this week, my friend.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's it for this episode. And let's see what audience questions and feedback we have this week. We have just one lonely question because one is the loneliest number.
It's the longest number.
It's the loneliest number. This is the question of the feedback that you put it. Don't forget to send us the feedback, the questions. We check YouTube comments, we check Twitter, we check mail, we check our personal stuff, we check under your
YouTube.
bed, we check everywhere.
Yeah.
For comments and questions, you can let us, and we will answer it here on the podcast. So our only question this week is, what was your biggest roadblock during your first playthrough of Monster Hunter World? Where did we get stuck, Lucho? Do you remember?
I don't know about you, but me personally
Yeah.
was Diablos.
Diablos?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
What?
It took me a lot of it took me a bunch of time to feel comfortable in the fight, and I know
okay.
like for the longest time I never felt like I was able to do it.
You still hate hunting him, by the way.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I can kill it now. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
But it just took me so long to just like I just felt that that was a monster that I could never conquer.
Oh my god! All right.
But but just that's for me.
I think for me was Pingratian. Just that middle point of the game because we have to farm so much to like actually advance
Yeah,
to
it's
become so
true.
stronger. It was like we farm a lot. We farm a lot in that point of the game to actually kill Pingratian and move into like proper high rank and starting
Yeah,
hunting all those high level monsters like in a decent way. And I remember that that point of the game was like a very big hurdle to the point like the game makes it a point that hey, you're in the middle of the game, you need to farm because it
yeah,
doesn't give you Pingratian straight away. You have to do some more quests and then you find his tracks. And it really shows why. Because I remember that we kind of went lucky and we find Pingratian very, very, very easily, but the fight was unreasonably hard.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And it was because of that because the game made a point of like you need to go and then from that point when we did Pingratian and we started seeing like all the high rank we started farm a lot more, right? Because by that point we've just been like going to the quest, go kill monsters, do some stuff, and get and like have this like steady progression through the majority of the monsters, right? We stop here and there in some specific weapons that we wanted,
Yeah,
right? But beyond that, in that point, that's when we start like farming properly hunt monsters. Like yeah, we have
yeah.
to go
That's true.
there and then kill this monster, and we kill like six, 7 times, and then we build what we needed, and then we start to advance to the other monsters, and then like we went to the last map, and we struggle a little bit there, but we keep farming, and then we start doing the Elder Dragons a lot more comfortable because we farm a lot in that middle point of the game.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was the big hurdle, at least for me, in Monster Hunter World in the quest that big farm that we had to do in the middle of the game because by that point you are in this momentum, right? That you kill one monster and the other and you see new stuff, blah blah blah, and then the kind of the game stops you and say no wait stop and
yeah.
figure out
That's
your
true.
stuff, right? And it's not that like a bad roadblock, but it's like something that you feel that it stops you in the middle of like advancing of the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. I hope that we answer your questions with burning reason.
Yeah, and that's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning in, tuning in to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, the Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at Luis G Polanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer, and you can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer and on Twitch on www.twitch.tv/TLNG, where I stream Mondays to Friday the majority of games that we talk about here. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. We love you all. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
And did you know? The majority of pickle factories in America ferment their pickles in outdoor vats without lids, leaving them subject to insects and bird droppings. Yummy. But there's a reason. According to food scientists, the sun's direct rays prevent yeast and molds from growing in the bread. Delicious.
And did you know that pickles have been around since ancient times? Although there is some disagreement as to when exactly in history people started eating them. Some believe that the first pickle was created in Mesopotamia around 2400 BCE. Another believe that it was even earlier, as early as 2030 BCE.
Yeah, old rotten pickle, dude.
Rotten and old pickles all day.
Rotten and old pickles with like insects and bird droppings everywhere. They're still delicious pickles, I guess.
I like them. I like
You
pickles
like
a
it
lot.
delicious, like you like your pickle with insects and everything else on it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm
So
here.
next time you just like if you drop a pickle in the floor, it won't matter.
Let's do it. Let's
just
fine.
did it. It's fine. It's fermentizing.